Welcome to Lotus Lane Daily. I'm glad you're here. Today's wisdom is for anyone going through something hard. You know that feeling when your phone buzzes at 9:47 p.m. and your whole body tightens before you even see who it is? You already know. You already know it's work. And you already know you're going to respond because you've been trained by habit, by fear, by years of implied expectation to always respond, even on weekends, even during dinner. Even when you swore to yourself that tonight was yours. That's not dedication. That's a trap. And the cruelest part is that you walked into it one small surrender at a time, so slowly you didn't notice the door closing behind you. Being always on call is one of those modern conditions that nobody quite names, but almost everyone in a professional job recognizes immediately. It's not just about working long hours. Plenty of people work long hours and still feel whole when they step away. Being always on call is different. It's the loss of any clean psychological boundary between your time and their time. It's the permanent ambient anxiety that something might break, that someone might need you, that the one moment you let your guard down will be the moment everything falls apart. You stop having off time. You just have on time and guilty off time. What it does to you over time. The human brain is not built for permanent readiness. We evolved to sprint, rest, sprint, rest. The nervous system is a remarkable thing when it's allowed to cycle. It fires up when needed and comes down when the threat passes. But when you stay elevated, when you never really come down, when every Sunday evening is already shadowed by Monday morning, the system starts to malfunction. You become irritable with the people who love you because they got what was left over, the wrung-out, already depleted version. You stop sleeping well because your brain won't fully release, even when your body is horizontal. Small problems at work feel enormous because there's no buffer left between you and the stress. Your hobbies feel pointless. Leisure feels like waiting. You forget, eventually, what you even liked before the job expanded to fill every corner. And the insidious thing is that you probably believe you chose this, that it's proof you care, that people who don't answer after hours are the lazy ones, the uncommitted ones. That thought deserves examination because it is almost certainly not your thought. It's a thought you absorbed from a culture that profits from your exhaustion and calls it ambition. The honest question nobody asks. Here is something worth sitting with honestly. If you were to stop responding to work messages after 8 p.m. for 30 days, not forever, just 30 days, what would actually happen? Not what might happen. Not what you fear might happen. What would actually happen? In most cases, the answer is very little. Most of what feels urgent after hours is urgent only because everyone has agreed to treat it that way. Very few jobs have genuine life-or-death emergencies at 10 p.m. What they have is a culture of performed availability, where being responsive is confused with being valuable, and being unreachable, even briefly, is read as disengagement. There's a line from a collection of philosophical letters that I think about in this context. The person who wins over themselves is the strongest of all. The greatest victory is self-mastery. Self-mastery, in this case, means something difficult and unglamorous. It means choosing what you attend to and refusing to let urgency, real or manufactured, make that choice for you. It means deciding deliberately that the notification can wait 2 hours. And it means tolerating the anxiety that comes with that decision without immediately caving to it. That anxiety is real. I want to be honest about that. The fear of missing something, of being seen as unresponsive, of losing ground to a colleague who never switches off, that fear is not imaginary. The environment you're in may actually reward constant availability. But the question is whether the reward is worth the cost. And the cost, measured over years, is your health, your presence, your relationships, and a certain fundamental aliveness that slowly drains away when you have no space that is genuinely yours. Practical things you can do right now. There are things you can actually do, starting tonight, that don't require a job change or a dramatic confrontation with your boss. Set a stop time and make it physical. Not a mental note, a physical act. Put your work phone in another room. Log out of email on your personal device. The friction of having to walk across the room and log back in is often enough to interrupt the reflex. The reflex is the problem, because reflexes don't pause to ask whether the thing is actually important. Create a transition ritual. Athletes warm down after competition. They don't just stop. Your nervous system needs something similar. A 10-minute walk, making tea, sitting outside for a moment. The content matters less than the signal you're sending to your brain. This chapter is closing, another one is opening. Without that signal, work bleeds into the evening because there's no clear seam between them. Stop apologizing for not being available. You are allowed to have hours that are yours. You don't need to explain, justify, or compensate for the fact that you weren't reachable between 9 p.m. and 8 a.m. If someone is genuinely angry that you didn't respond at midnight, that tells you something important about the environment, something worth taking seriously as information, not as a cue to capitulate. Have one honest conversation with your manager, not a complaint, a conversation about what actually constitutes a genuine emergency in your role and what response time is reasonable for non-urgent messages. Many always-on cultures persist because nobody has ever asked the question out loud. The answer might surprise you. And even if it doesn't, you will have named the thing, which is itself useful. An old philosophical text puts it plainly: small daily actions compound into great achievements over time. Never underestimate the power of consistent daily effort. That cuts both ways. Small daily surrenders, answering one more email, taking one more call on a Sunday, compound into a life where you are never really off. And small daily recoveries, one evening protected, then two, then a whole weekend, compound into something that starts to feel like your own life again. The life that is waiting on the other side. Here is the honest truth about people who have strong boundaries around availability. They are not less effective at their jobs. In many cases, they are more effective because they bring a rested, clear mind to their working hours rather than a frayed, always depleted one. The person who works 6 focused hours is frequently more useful than the person who is technically available for 14 unfocused ones. But more importantly than effectiveness, and I want to say this directly, there is a version of your life in which evenings feel like yours again, in which dinner with your family is just dinner, not interrupted dinner, in which you pick up a book or take a walk or sit quietly without the background hum of obligation. That version of your life is not naive or privileged or available only to people with less demanding jobs. It's available to you, probably, if you are willing to draw the line and hold it even when it's uncomfortable. The phone will buzz, that won't stop. But whether you answer it at 9:47 p.m. is still, for most of us, a choice. A hard choice sometimes. A choice with real social friction. But a choice. You are allowed to put it down. You are allowed to have an evening. You are allowed to be unreachable. Those hours belong to you, and you didn't give them away. They were taken from you gradually, quietly, and with your exhausted cooperation. Take some of them back. Start with one evening. That's enough. That's the wisdom for today. If something here landed for you, share it with one person who might need to hear it too. Take it slow. I'll see you tomorrow on Lotus Lane Daily.